When it comes to what the audience is for Aftermath, I think if you're somebody that is enjoying Dylan Sprouse kind of transition into being an action hero, or just kind of have these sort of, for lack of a better term, machismo roles, you're gonna enjoy this. Or if you're waiting on the next big action movie, just want something to get you to that point, Aftermath can maybe give you your fix, especially because this is a action film that doesn't cross the globe, but instead has a tight spot, which means there has to be not only strategy and calculations, but also confrontation throughout. With that said, to summarize the film, Eric has just returned home after doing a nearly 2 year stint in the military, specifically the Army, and one of the first things he wanted to do once he got back was to see his little sister, Maddie, who now wants to go by Madeline. While going to the movies, they get stuck on a bridge which is being attacked by a man named James Roken, who wants a woman named Samantha Brown to confess that he and his crew are not war criminals, she's the one in the wrong, and he wants to force the Pentagon to release files that vindicate all that he did for the American public. Get into the highlights for this. It's definitely seeing Sprouse as an action hero, and if you watch the, what is it called, After Everything or something like that, where he is playing this, not UFC, but that type of fighter, you can see we're having progression toward characters like this, and it's probably going to go beyond as he continues to act and really hone in on his action roles and take that charm and that sort of charisma that's gotten him this far and maybe become a full-blown action star. But till then, you see he's just taking baby steps with movies that perhaps can be seen as a little bit indie. I mean, this one is available on digital release, so, not something that's like big theatrical, but point of the matter is, even though when it comes to tapping into the PTSD that Eric has, the guilt, this film doesn't really do much for him in terms of the dramatic side. In terms of making him look like a credible action star, it definitely nails that on the head. With that said, I would even say when it comes to Jacob, again, on paper and in theory, you get it. Like, when it comes to any soldier, there's sort of this weird balance between, yes, they're a hero, they're people who are protecting this country, but at the same time, the path to become a hero can be definitely fraught and also not clear cut. For in the pursuit of getting a terrorist or getting someone who's an enemy of America or the world as a whole, there's a lot of people you have to go through, and there's not always going to be bad people. There's going to be people who are morally grave, sometimes good people who are protecting bad people, or of course bystanders who, when it comes to life and death situations, you don't know what to do. And when it comes to Jacob's situation, with him being one of the youngest captains in the military and stuff like that, his methods, I could naturally imagine, make him think, if I'm getting these accolades from the military, if I'm becoming somebody who's this young yet I'm leading a recon platoon or whatever the proper military term is, he's doing the right thing. So to now have someone like Samantha say that, no, you're a war criminal, I'm going to report you, and then it becomes this whole thing, you can see how conflicting that is for someone to sacrifice so much, and yet this is what they get in return. So I wouldn't say that he's a sympathetic character by the way he talks and acts, but if you look at it bigger picture beyond this one action, you can see why, like with Eric in his situation, in different hands, this definitely could have allowed for more dramatic roles, but instead this is more so an action and not like an action comedy. It's not one of those so bad it's good situations, but you can see there is potential depth that goes untapped here. With that said, outside of Eric and Jacob, I wouldn't say you're going to really strongly care about who lives or dies in this whole movie. Madeline, honestly, there are times where I almost felt like it would have been interesting to see Jacob go as far as he threatens to, or even go beyond, or kind of not kill her but really do harm, just so that it would elevate him as a villain. And then when it comes to Samantha, while it's nice to see a familiar actress or actress, since the woman who plays her was in Altered Carbon, which at least the first season was good. We're not going to talk about the second one, but point of the matter is, it was interesting to see her get to be in action, but at the end of the day, while a familiar face, which likely helped with financing, I wouldn't say that she gave something that really made you think it could have only been her. And for me, I don't want to say that she didn't give something, because she definitely was kicking ass and taking names, but if she died, it wouldn't have been a big deal to me. And I feel like when it comes to horror movies, action movies, you should really care who lives or dies. Otherwise, what's the point of the character? Whether they're a hero or a villain. But overall, when it comes to Aftermath, it'll quench the thirst of people who are looking for the next big action movie. And if you're a Dylan Sprouse fan, you're gonna love this. But if action movies aren't like one of your favorite genres and Dylan Sprouse isn't one of your favorite actors, it's one of those films where if it's on a streaming platform, it's worth checking out, but paying for it on its own, the $14.99 or however much this cost, I wouldn't put it at the top of the list at all.